In this video, we'll show you how a local contractor implemented every European machine imaginable in one of America's most expensive towns, Aspen, Colorado. Although Aspen is known for being so expensive that even celebrities can't afford it,
Come back later.
it has infrastructure needs like any other town. That brings us to Shay Stutsman, a third-generation contractor whose family has lived in the area since the 1800s. Shay owns Stutsman Gerbaz Earthmoving, a company founded by Shay's grandfather, Dick Stutsman, and his brother-in-law, Jerry Gerbaz, in the 1960s to serve Aspen and the surrounding communities. Stutsman followed Aspen's steady growth over the decades, and by 2019, Shay took over as the third-generation owner. But with more growth on the horizon, Shay had a problem. How the heck would he keep up within one of America's toughest labor markets? His solution wasn't in Colorado or even in America. To find it, he had to fly across the pond, as they say, to Zurich, Switzerland, to learn from one of the world's best contractors, Eberhard.
What made you decide to go to Europe in the first place?
I had gone to a wedding with my wife in Belgium, and I had seen a wheeled excavator, and it was running around doing all these wild things. There was no laborers, there was nothing, and just super intrigued by what it was, and saw that it was oil quick, and came back to the US and was like, oh, that's super cool. And then started following the Eberhard guys on social media. And through following them on social media, just the ideas that they had, how they were implementing the work, the type of work that they were doing with the machines, with all the attachments that they were using, I just became enthralled in the whole European way, in the mindset. I pretty much invited myself. I was like, hey, do you mind if, and they were so gracious to lend the invitation to come out and spend time with them. And once I was there, I was absolutely just blown away by what they were doing.
You loyal viewers of our channel know the name. We've seen them do all sorts of incredible work, from demolition to extreme basement excavations. And Shay's 2022 visit coincided with mine as well. While there were loads of cool projects I could recount, one stands higher than them all: the removal and replacement of Zurich International Airport's runway. We arrived at the airport late, rolled through security, and headed to the staging area. Shay and I waited alongside the still active runway, watching the planes land and checking out the machines before the party began. And when the last plane of the night touched down, it was go time. We piled into the back of a van and raced down the now closed runway, with machines doing the same on the left and right of us. Not every day do I witness 45-ton haul trucks go full send on concrete pavement. To summarize the project, the consortium had to replace runway 1028's 2,500 meter or 8,200 foot centerline without disrupting daily air operations. To make it happen, they divided the project into over 70 sections, with one section removed and replaced every night shift between the last plane landing and the first plane leaving each morning. Each section was about 70 meters or 230 feet long and required perfect coordination amongst over 100 people and many machines, ranging from 90-ton excavators to on-road asphalt trucks. Delays were off the table, with hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential damages. Even though it was a cold and wet spring night, the crews did not miss a beat, ripping out the first concrete sections only 5 minutes after the final touchdown.
All right, this is my famous line, but I've never seen anything like this. They've been here for, I don't know, like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And they started all the way back here. They're right up here. These guys are gonna be done pretty soon. They've already cleaned off all of the rogue bits. The milling machines are coming in to finish the surface. This is just chaos. Crazy.
In the U.S., I feel like we have a mindset that we need to do the job, and it takes what it takes. And if we can inconvenience the public and just the general society, like, it's the cost of doing business. The Europeans said, that's not how we're going to approach it. We're going to let the general society not suffer, and we're going to do this all at night. We're going to come up with different ways, different techniques, and different machines so that they can, get the work done while not stopping this massive airport, right? This international airport in Switzerland. So it was the mindset, the mentality of how to do the work. And then, yes, it was the tools. It was the wheeled excavators, the oil quick, all the different attachments. So it was a complete shift in the way that we decided to do business, from equipment, attachments, and then overall execution, and completely changing our attitude and our mindset to doing work.
Following the Switzerland visit, Shay had a new bag of tricks and wasted no time heavily investing in his fleet, technology, and methodology. And now that he's had a few years to work it all out, we visited his operations surrounding Aspen to see how it's going.
We're downtown Aspen. There's a Gucci store on the other side of this wall. There's a Lululemon right there. This is a very fancy part of the United States. All of these alleys and all of these streets have direct berry power that was put in the 60s and 70s. And Aspen has rolled out a program to replace all of these power lines. And Stutsman, this is their second year of 15 years of power replacement for the town of Aspen. Right here is the perfect example of why they've invested in these specialty machines. This is a 315 excavator, variable angle boom, VA boom, tilt rotator. So it's working in this little tight area. He can squeeze that boom in. He can use that tilt rotator to move the bucket around as he needs to.
Nearly every Stutsman machine has oil quick. We'll explain this in detail soon, but it's a European staple that is still rare in America despite its wild advantages.
Every machine they have is oil quick. So he's about to disconnect that bucket as we speak. And then he's gonna grab the pizza cutter. We're gonna see the pizza cutter in action. I've never seen one in action before. I will explain it, but we'll just show it to you.
This attachment can cut asphalt without the noise and dust of traditional saws, keeping the neighbors, like Gucci, happy. Excavators are neat, but let's go across town to check out the machines Stutsman has specialized in since the 60s. the track loader.
Site 2, we are just outside of town now. This is a project that we can't necessarily talk about, but what we can talk about is this beauty right behind me, a brand new next-gen 963 track loader. Shay has a few of these machines. They absolutely love them. They are very versatile. They can push material, they can dig material with the tracks and the traction that provides. It puts a lot of force on that bucket. You can do a lot of amazing things with these machines. It also has GPS. You can see the receivers there for Trimble up above. So he can make, grade, push this material and get this to wherever it needs to be all in one go.
These track loaders are the prize jewels of the Stutsman fleet. Equipped with custom Trimble GPS, oil quick, and an assortment of attachments, we had Shay give us the rundown on his 963s.
So this is our new next-gen Cat 963 track loader. A little bit different with this machine is that we had AMI specially design and develop a quick coupler using oil quick connection for this coupling system. So wet coupling, just like an oil quick on an excavator, we're going to interchange any hydraulic attachment in 10 to 30 seconds. Right now I've got a general purpose bucket on, but AMI really went above and beyond to help design the bucket, make sure that we had good spill guards going over the top so that dirt, when you're curling the bucket, goes up over the top. And it's designed really well on the bottom so that when you're back dragging, no dirt gets in and messes up any of these connections right in there. Also on this machine, we had a special bumper designed, also by AMI. The bumper helps add weight when we're using the dozer blade or a demolition bucket, really helps balance out the machine. So the standard bumper from Caterpillar weighs about 800 pounds. This one's closer to 2,000. So adding about 2,000 pounds of counterweight. Plus these are custom counterweights that were added also by Wagner Equipment. So big collaboration with Wagner Equipment, AMI, and Oil Quick to get this thing to where it was. And also a huge thanks to Caterpillar for their help with it too. So this is one of our second next-gen track loaders that is utilizing Earthworks for Trimble technology. But what's a little bit different right now is that we're using a front shovel for the guidance. So when you look at the screen, you see a front shovel. Also, AMI had to specially design this joystick, which when we're using a demolition bucket, but especially the dozer blade, we have two functions on here. So vertical up and down is for your tilt, side to side is for your angle. And then your buttons are for increment and decrement with the GPS. So this is a excavation for a building. We got a three-dimensional model in for the building, so the guys know exactly where they are, what we need to do. Right here, 6.3 foot cut. You can see the foundation. You can see one step in the foundation. We come over here, you'll see the other steps. All the layback is entered in. So as these guys are digging, they know exactly where they are, what they're doing. So one of the main reasons that we utilize track loaders is because this site's a little bit different. It's fairly flat, but if it were to rain, this clay soil would get super soft and super difficult from an underfoot condition perspective. So the track loaders really help us in soft underfoot conditions, but where they really shine is the steep slopes that we work on quite often. Also in the demolition application, the tracks are a lot more durable, obviously, than tires. So when we're utilizing a loader versus like a track loader versus a wheel loader, we can utilize the track loader to do all of the things that a wheel loader needs to do. And then when we put the dozer blade on, we've got basically a dozer also. So instead of having a wheel loader and a dozer, we're utilizing one machine to do the tasks of both machines, because dozers are fantastic, but you can't load trucks.
And like the child I am, I definitely had to sit in the thing.
So this is your bucket control, obviously.
Bucket control, yep.
And then, is it like a dozer?
No.
Do you have a decel pedal? No.
No, that's how you steer. Right, left steering. The more you pull this on this side, the faster you go forward. The more you pull it on this side, the faster you go in reverse.
Really?
Yeah,
So you just leave it in a single speed,
single speed, always in high idle.
but you have your brake here?
Correct. So, but essentially you shouldn't use your brake
Yeah.
for more operations, just faster and slower.
That's pretty straightforward.
Now for the next European inspiration, a triple grouser D1 dozer.
Shay is a big fan of what the Europeans have done. Some of the things he saw, he took and implemented back here in Aspen. One of those is running the triple grouser pads on the dozer. So typical dozer will have grousers spaced out, whereas this one has the excavator pads so that while they're grading, it leaves no marks in that grade. Basically, almost functioning as a blade, because he didn't get a blade, they're too big in a lot of the areas he works in. A D1 though, perfect size. They're running Trimble total station, you can see that on the front there, but it also has 3D GPS, and that custom blade there helps to grade for streetscapes like this one here in Basalt. That is a sick machine.
The purpose of this project, to recap, is stormwater management. Right now, all of the water is just running off the street down here into the creek, taking whatever it wants with it, making a bit of a mess. So once they are done here, there will be a nice management system in here to gather all of that stormwater in a nice, tidy manner. Carry it to that right there, that manhole, dump it into some RCP and ferry it out that way, and I'll get to that in a moment. But right here is an example of why they had to change things around with the water line. That right there, what's exposed, that black iron pipe, is the existing water line that was going to be in the way of that concrete pipe. So the concrete pipe needs to go right where that pipe is into that manhole. This is the reality of underground work. That stormwater pipe has to take priority because it's gravity fed. It has to be on a specific incline for the water to flow. That water line is in the way. It has to go. They're going to put the water line elsewhere to then get the stormwater to where we're going next. Right over there, it's buried. All of the water then is collected in this enormous vault underground. That vault allows debris, sediment to settle within the vault. It'll be removed on a regular maintenance basis. And then that clear, nice, tidy water goes right out here into the stream behind us. The stream's happy, fish is happy, people happy, nice, clean water. Everything is so much better. Looking around here, I think Shay is the most European-inspired contractor in America. No one in America is doing this kind of stuff other than Shay, which it boggles my mind. I don't totally understand it, but that's how it goes. It's working out great for him. As you can see, this is something that is very European. One, work tools, that's very European. This is also on Oil Quick. You won't typically see a hammer with Oil Quick in America. That means this machine can drop the bucket, grab the hammer without messing with those hoses up top there. And then you've also got the hammer sitting on this nice little stand to keep it out of the dirt.
Don't say it. Don't you say it. Left. Come on!
Allowing the machine to grab it a little easier. You also see all kinds of different work tools, all different buckets. There's a compactor. They've got just about everything they need for this waterline project.
Okay, so what we're doing here is these guys are getting ready to come in and put in micropiles.
Yep.
We have to put in micropiles because we're digging so close to the property line and we're digging so deep that if we were to conventionally excavate right next to the property line, there's a chance of that dirt sloughing off and falling in and disturbing their property.
Okay.
Even if we're using a trench box, right? So we're going to go ahead and install a micropile wall here to protect the property, make sure that we don't disturb any property. And then we'll still use a trench box to protect the guys on this side. But the micropiles is really to protect the property and everything on the other side of the trench. So I had to come back through, find all the utilities, find all the water lines, the sewer lines. We put PVC pipe on each side. So when we come through with the drill, we make sure that we're not drilling through any utilities that are in the way.
And this is all just to replace this line that's existing.
New stormwater system, which has not been done. So this has all been surface runoff.
Okay.
So to really help improve the stormwater quality of the town, coming back in, trying to do new inlet structures, redo inlet structures, capture that water, take it to a treatment center. So on the other side of the project, they just got done installing a giant storm tech chamber that filters out all of the sediment.
Interesting.
And then that way that everything before it goes into the river is clean.
And these are
These are hollow bar micropiles. So as we drill, grout is injected through the hollow bar, goes out the bit, and as that drill bit goes down, it creates a grout column.
Yeah.
So you're relying on the bar itself to be structured to help with the structural integrity, but then you're also relying on that grout column as you go down, and it's really good in the sandy soils because that grout starts penetrating and working its way in. So if you space these every 12 inches, which is what we're doing, you should get grout penetration so that the grout column ends up touching each other. So you should get a really consistent grout and micropile wall, but then you also have your bar as reinforcement. This is actually exciting. This is our very first.
Yeah, it looks like you just got going here.
And this is our very first soil stabilization job that we've actually have a contract on.
So this setup is injecting the grout.
That's right here. We got an Intract D9. It's our drought plant
Yeah.
that we got from Detroit. That's a colloidal mixer. It'll actually shear the grout and mixes it. And then we got a piston pump that'll pump it through the hose, through the head, down through the bit. And then that'll inject my column. And we could turn it up where we could do a little bit of jet grouting. So a 4-inch bit may make a 6-inch column.
Sure. So he's running the machine while you're running the drill.
Yeah, well, yes, he's moving the machine. And basically, he hits the hydraulics. And that'll give hydraulics to the drill rig. And then I run everything off of the remote. And then we can also, he's got the awesome oil quick system, of course. And we can basically set it on the ground and hook up to a bucket.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So the other thing that's cool too is we have 3 tilt rotators, and then all the VAB excavators, the 325s, including the 315, can share the tilt rotators. So if they get into a weird situation, they can just bring a tilt rotator over here. That doesn't have to stay with the machine. So we have 4 tilt rotators that get passed around to all the different machines. But if they needed to bring a tilt rotator over here for whatever reason, dig around something funny, they can bring a tilt rotator over to this project.
And the tilt rotator works with all your buckets.
All the buckets.
Can you explain to the people at home the deal with the VA booms? Because that is witchcraft in America.
It is witchcraft in America. So if you look at a conventional excavator.
Yeah, this is great because we have a conventional example.
What you see is that he has to work at a certain distance. So as he's trying to clean up his little pile of asphalt that's in front of him, as he starts bringing that closer to his tracks, right, he's going to probably have to walk back a little bit.
Sure.
Now, that's just an example of what he's doing right now. But if you're in a really, really tight scenario and you're trying to work right in front of you in that really, really close range, you suck that boom back, and on a super narrow street like this, depending on where the excavator has to sit, if you suck that boom back, your working range becomes a lot shorter.
Yeah.
So it's really not for extended working range. It's to bring your working range into a lot smaller. So the goal really, not move the excavator, move your boom to a closer spot to you.
Now let's hop a few streets over to show off some neat ground penetrating radar technology.
Okay, so rod radar bucket, super cool technology. Essentially what it does, it's got ground penetrating radar right here, has cables that come up through this head, goes through the oil quick system, and then that oil quick system runs it over to a tablet that's inside the cab. So as we're digging around, looking for utilities, He can take his bucket, put it flat on the ground, and make a scan, and that scan from where he started to where he finished scanning is going to tell you whether or not there's an anomaly.
Sure.
And it's going to pick up a pipe or a wire or any type of man-made anomaly that's in the ground. So if it could be a phone line, it could be a water line, copper, steel, any type of thing, it's going to show up and tell you. So what they do is they start with a designated point, they make the scan, and it's going to tell you that there's something detected. So you make a mark, and it tells you the horizontal distance. So you take a tape measure out, and then it gives you a vertical distance. And then these guys know that if it's 4 feet out, 18 inches deep, they can take that first foot off.
Sure.
But they really start needing to be careful after 4 feet.
When it comes to building, Aspen has many rules, one of which dictates height, allowing homes to only be 2 stories tall. But what if you need more square footage for Sparky or the in-laws? If you can't go up, you must go down. Digging a hole in an urban environment is one thing, but the basements of Aspen usually present a second challenge. They're typically under existing houses. Herein lies another building rule, which is historic houses can't go anywhere. So any construction must happen with the existing homes still on site. But do not worry, because Stutsman has a solution. For such scenarios, crews can prop the house up, putting it on temporary wooden supports and excavating underneath. Some excavations are simple, with only 1 floor, while others are more complex, reaching depths of over 30 feet. Now that we know why these are unique, let's visit a larger basement dig from a few years ago.
Behind me, you can see an excavation. This is for 2 single unit homes combined as one excavation, one basement. Land in Aspen is extraordinarily expensive, some of the most expensive land in the entire country in the United States. So you need to maximize every square foot you have. The shoring surrounding this excavation is beam and lagging. So what they've done is they've driven these piles around the outside of the excavation before they've begun. And as they dig the excavation down, they set this wooden lagging in there to fill in the gap and hold back the earth as it gets deeper and deeper. And then once it's complete, that lagging is all the way down to the bottom. They have this nice, beautiful box, this nice, beautiful basement to build their new homes from within.
So, my drone and my phone are down there. I don't want to walk back down there, too much work. So we're gonna use this really expensive excavator to deliver the drone and phone to me. Aspen delivery service.
They dig the basement a layer at a time, so they took the first 5 feet, now they're taking the next 5. So what they're doing is they're pulling back from this wall here. They're gonna make it nice and level with those I-beams that are in the ground there, and then they're gonna attach their lagging to retain that earth. First off, a huge thank you to our new sponsor, Ariat. Check out their wares linked in the description, and thank you to the Stutsman team. I love seeing this company. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as we did, and we'll see you on the next one. Stay dirty.